Now I'm delighted to welcome our keynote speaker, Dr. Badrul Khan, and he sent us a short video to set the scene, and then he will join us live. Let's run the video, please.
Greetings to everyone. My name is Badrul Khan. What is microlearning? Microlearning can be defined as a single objective-focused, outcome-based, standalone, meaningful, and interactive learning unit delivered in bite-sized snippets. For example, a short modular format, either digitally, such as via computer, tablet, or mobile phones, or non-digitally, for example, via flashcard or booklet. Along with attention spans getting shorter, there is a growing need for alternative ways of learning. Today's learner expect to learn more in less time, and microlearning has the potential to do that. It has been proven that when learning is in bite size, it is more easily consumed and understood. Microlearning is perfectly suited for today's fast-moving world. From the instructor's perspective, it is quick to develop, and from the learner's perspective, it is easily accessible whenever they need it. Characteristics of microlearning. Microlearning is an interactive and engaging unit, short bursts of highly engaging and interactive lesson. Single objective focus covers just one performance-based learning objective. Just in time, available on demand and in the moment of need. Cost effective. It takes less production time, thereby cost less. Short duration. It covers the must-learn content and provides additional links if needed. Retention boosting. Bite-sized chunks, decreasing attention spans and information overload reinforce learning. Independent but part of the whole. Content broken down into single objective focused independent unit but part of the whole learning goal. Device independent. Microlearning can be delivered on multiple devices. Microlearning, therefore, with all beneficial characteristics that we discussed, including interactive, engaging, single objective focused, just in time, cost effective, short duration, retention boosting, independent but part of the whole, and device independent, make microlearning meaningful to learners. In 2007, I authored an article called Learning Snippets for Meaningful E-Learning Implementation. So you need to think about two things. One is informational, one is instructional. Informational about a camera, the description of camera is the information. But how to teach one to operate the camera is instruction. So we are talking about microlearning. We are not talking about the information. We are talking about instruction that will lead to learning. So from the perspective of instructional design and my octagonal e-learning framework, this will be our focus for creating meaningful, usable microlearning. So to create engaging, this brief, competence-based microlearning based on a single learning objective, one has to follow some guidelines. So I created an e-learning framework.
This is one of the books based on the framework that we did, and many of my books are based on the e-learning framework, and which will be used as a framework for microlearning. And all 8 dimensions of the framework will be instrumental in creating meaningful microlearning. Pedagogical dimension deals with learning and teaching. This dimension addresses issues concerning content analysis, audience analysis, goal analysis, media analysis, design approach, organization, methods and strategies of e-learning environment. The technological dimension of the framework examines issues of technological infrastructure that includes infrastructure planning, hardware and software. The interface design refers to the overall look and feel of e-learning program. Interface dimensions encompass page and site design, content design, navigation, and usability testing. Evaluation of e-learning includes both assessment of learners and evaluation of instruction and learning environment. The management of e-learning refers to the maintenance of learning environment and distribution of information. Resource support dimension of the framework addresses the online support and resources required to foster meaningful learning environments. Ethical consideration of e-learning refers to social and political influence, cultural diversity, bias, geographical diversity, learner diversity, information accessibility, etiquette, and the legal issues. Finally, the institutional dimension is concerned with issues of administrative affairs, academic affairs, and student services related to e-learning. A complete list of the microlearning framework with its 8 dimensions and subdimensions are available at badrulkhan.com/framework.
The overall goal of the umbrella is to protect you from rape. Objectives, they are working toward achieving the goal of your course. May have 40 objectives, but there is only one goal. So each objective deals with a specific task for the whole goal of the umbrella.
Welcome to e-learning design and technology course. My name is Badrul Khan. I'm so happy to teach this class. So many of you are probably wondering what is e-learning. So let's write E and then we have learning. So E, you see E means all electronic devices or tools. So that means what you have, everything that you use, like your hardware, like your cell phone, your laptop, your television, radio, satellite, your Wi-Fi, all the technologies, including your learning management system, these are part of all E. When these E technologies are used to develop learning, then we call e-learning. So let me show you, for learning, we have pedagogy, or you can say andragogy. And within that, you have instructional design. Instructional design. So in this course, what we try to do is to make a good combination of this E and learning together and come up with a framework, which is, you see, the framework will appear right here. It does pedagogy and technology together to create meaningful learning. So far you have technology plus pedagogy and other issues that involve, we're going to study all of it. So in this course, will have a lot of fun, because in this course, you're going to create a meaningful, easily accessible e-learning, which is cost-effective, and also it will be very interactive. So thank you, and with the next lesson, we'll probably come up with more interesting ideas about different technologies and how they're making interactive lessons.
Gyan is a Bangla term for knowledge sharing. Gyan is an environmentally friendly, technologically supported, sustainable knowledge sharing platform completely financed by generous support from donors. And the purpose of Gyan is to promote competency-based, flexible lifelong learning. Children riding on Gyan going to the school and watching a microlearning video on how to create organic fertilizer.
Thank you. And Dr. Khan, can you join us, please?
Yes. Good morning, Paul, and good morning, all my friends in NATO. Good morning, folks in the United States. Good afternoon. Good evening in the rest of the world. And we are going through a very difficult pandemic time. Hang in there. We'll be good. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. So do you want to continue with any opening remarks, or should we dive into questions?
Well, I want to say a few words first, and then we'll take questions. First of all, microlearning, it is a part of e-learning. So don't think that microlearning and e-learning, there is no relationship. Obviously, if you think of an umbrella of your course, so you have many objectives within that course. So each of these objectives should be used to create a learning snippet, which is microlearning, single objective. So you have to start thinking about a course as a part of like drops of water in the ocean. So each single microlearning unit should be as good of the rest of the course. So a drop of water in the ocean would be the same taste or same properties the rest of the water in ocean. So it means we should start thinking we are creating a learning, but we will synnaptize based on each learning objective. Why we are doing it? Because people are busy. Their attention span is not very high. So they are on the go. And we have digital citizens now. They have just few minutes. So within the few minutes, how can you teach it? Can you teach it? Yes, you can teach it. If you think that way, you synnaptize the whole course, and each one of them will be interactive, engaging, as I mentioned, the different beneficial attributes of microlearning. Now, I would think that because I've been invited before by NATO, and I always thought that we should create meaningful e-learning. When I say e-learning, I mean meaningful micro-learning also. So we need to focus on who are we creating these learning materials or training materials for. We need to look into there. That's what I call, you should stop and think this way. Thinking, you should put your stakeholder at the center. At the center, and ask the question, can you help them pedagogically? Can you minimize their concern about technological interface? These are all a different dimension. You put the trainer and the instructor in here and ask the same question. You put other community stakeholders for your course in here and see the issues around these dimensions are fulfilled. If you can do that for e-learning, if you can do it for micro-learning, you're doing it good for education and training. And by the way, I appreciate your joining us, and I believe that NATO will make it available later on. So those who have missed it, you can see the recorded video. So I would say that I'll be open to answer any questions you have, and within the scope of time, I do not know how far we can go deeper into. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you very much. So our first question, as we continue to make it easier for the learner by spoon feeding them on different technology platforms that appeal to their short attention span on an already overloaded information space, is there a danger of making the student lazier, removing the motivations and discipline that traditional methods, for instance, like reading a book?
So I am not sure you are saying against it or for it, but if you are saying for it, I welcome you. What is this? It is something like thumbs up. It's way to go in the United States and Western world. When I was in Bangladesh, back in Bangladesh, in Chittagong Collegiate School playing cricket in 70s, when someone bowled me out in the cricket and they go like this, means green banana, it means it's a derogatory thing. So it means the sign and symbol that you use could be misunderstood some other culture. Now it's all Western culture, but because of TV, they understand it. But before it was like, why you're challenging me and why you got it right? So if I take a course in American professor, I got it answer right, American professor give me thumbs up, and I was back in Bangladesh those days, I said, this professor must be not in his full mind. That's why he's challenging me, I got the answer right. Same way, so you see in learning, it will be boring if you keep a lot of talking, but they wanted to see, I showed someone, I said, you can eat your rice this way, or you can eat this way too. So straight. If I go to Walmart and someone asks me, my wife, Seema, where did Badrul go? Oh, he went to Walmart. And I was wondering, why did he go to Walmart? Is he going to buy banana, or is he going to take some medicine, or is he going to get some milk? But if my wife said, no, Badrul went to Popeye's Chicken. By the way, I'm not endorsing any of the organization. So maybe he's a mood for eating chicken. So we need to be very attentive, targeted when we give information and instruction. So micro-learning is going to be more work because you have to snippetize. You have to divide each part of the whole course and make sure they're systemic nature, they're interrelated, interdependent. So it is, I'm taking, you're not giving an opportunity to say you are against it for it, but I'm taking it for it. And it is a good thing because our kids, if they call them, if you don't call, he's next to me, you want to talk, he doesn't talk, he said, text me. So this society don't have enough attention like we did.
Thank you. So our next question, does Dr. Khan recommend any specific tools or platforms to deliver micro-learning lessons?
Not really. As my definition, I said that it can be digitally, you can have any of the learning management system, and I don't endorse any, but there are open source learning management system you can use, and also maybe like something like this. This is like the Gyan Bahun, the knowledge carrier I showed, and it's got my framework inside. Every materials we are making it here are conformed to this. So this could be infographics, for example. So what you need to do, you need to find out what is it the content of that microlearning you want to teach. What about available tools you have, computer, flashcard, or yourself, or a blackboard, combine them. Main thing is it has to be interactive and it has to be outcome based. Someone learn from it, then it satisfies you. So I do not endorse any technology. You yourself a technology, anything available to you, but I appreciate low-cost technology. I'm very concerned about third world countries, and there are open source. In fact, in Bangladesh, when this pandemic started, the schools are going on. How? Not physically, virtually. Teachers started creating. There are 64 districts in Bangladesh, and each district teachers started their online schools, like Chittagong, where I'm from, Chittagong online school, Dhaka online school. So teachers schedule it, and the students are using their cell phone or whatever ways. So it is, don't think about too many things that you need to have this and that. No, get it started. Get it started, whatever available, low-cost technology within reach. And at the same time, you have to think about your learner, the receiving end. Are they able to use it? If they use it, and if they use it right, and transfer the knowledge in the workplace.
Thank you. So the next question, where should a person or organization interested in reformatting a large chunk of content, or indeed a full course, into microlearning get started? How do you go about breaking up that course into micro chunks?
First of all, the main skeleton, suppose when an architect design a building, he used the architectural principles to create a storyboard or floor plan for the building. So for us, microlearning, it has learning. Micro is small, but learning is there. Learning is main thing. So how do we design learning? We have to go back to learning theories. Within the learning theories, also you have instructional theories. One is descriptive, one is prescriptive. So you use the descriptive and prescriptive principles from instructional design to create this learning content, synnetize objectives. You have to find the objective, which one comes first sequentially, and make the interrelationship if there is one. And also, let me do some blatant self-promotion. I have two models, one called Khan's P3 model, people, process, product model. Means who are the people doing what, in what stage, and what they're producing. During the design time, they come up with the blueprint. This is called Khan's P3 model. That is a prescriptive model. Now, I also have a descriptive model, which is my framework, octagonal framework. You go through each categories of framework, like pedagogically, have I done that? Technologically, have I done that? You keep the learner or any stakeholders at the center of the model. That describes, framework is not a model, it's a descriptive approach, guide you what are the things you should be thinking of creating this e-learning courses. Obviously, I'm not endorsing anyone that you go to, but you come to me, I'll help you.
Okay, thank you. So next question, can you talk about how an instructional designer can help their stakeholders appreciate the importance of the ISD process and the time it takes to do a good job through the entire process, especially the evaluation?
Well, instructional design is a process. With my P3 model, I say it starts with planning, and then you have analysis, design, development, implementation. And I added marketing in there. See, when you create online materials or create any instructional materials, you are creating like your students. But you need to focus on return on investment, meaning that if a student, whether students were able to understood or perform, has to be performance-based objective. And if they appreciate it, and then their knowledge is transferred to the community benefits. So greater return on investment is the most important thing for instructional designers and also whoever sponsoring it. What happens, return on investment can be tangible, some can be intangible. Tangible in the sense that I must say that when you do a prescription, you give a training, you don't get the feedback right away, but you create an intangible influence on these people. Like in Bangladesh, when I was there, I was talking about e-learning. They didn't grasp it those days. Now they realize it. But I created their mindset that someday something will happen that you may be not been able to go to physical classroom. So that is intangible influence. Tangible influence will be that I give you this and you got right your benefit. So when you think about return on investment, think about tangible and intangible way. Maybe you're not getting credit, some of the credits that because you don't see them after effect, maybe after a few years. So instructional designer, when you design with right instructional principle, knowing the target audience, knowing your capabilities and know the target audience's capability or the students' capabilities and their readiness, and look at the content. And content must be designed using learning theories and instructional techniques. And when you do that, it will be more interactive. And learning could be engaging, could be fun. And at the end, the assessment time, when you assess, how do you assess? Like I said, some assessment cannot be done is you created intangible influence on them, and now their mindset is, oh, we need to go to virtual education. Previously, when I first had the book Web-Based Instruction, a lot of people was against this. That was in 1995. So now they don't ask me, is it e-learning better than face-to-face? These days, can you come to webinar, talk about e-learning? Man, those days, you like gave me a hard time. So what happens, things will change. So instructional designer, you should be thinking about knowing your audience, their readiness, their ability, and under what context they will be learning it, and what is the content. If the content, if it's psychomotor skill, how you design. If it's intellectual skill, how you design. I modified in my Khan's e-learning tips book. I think that book is that one. A modified version of Bloom's taxonomy from low cognitive to high cognitive level. What are the instruction and design strategies you should use, and what kind of tools use, asynchronous or synchronous. So good luck for instruction designers. I think we are in a very good demand in the world because we need to create a lot of digital resources for learning and training.
You're right. So can an objective only support one goal or more goals at the same moment?
No, you have to think like goal is like a bigger thing. Goal cannot always be achieved 100%. The goal of umbrella is to protect you from rain. But underneath each goal, there are many objectives. But goal cannot be within objectives. Objectives can be within the goal. So if your goal of umbrella is to protect you from rain, so each spoke of the umbrella are considered as objectives. So how you identify objectives, that's what the most important thing. You may be content expert, but you need so many necessary goals, sequential order with prerequisites to achieve that goal. For example, not all goal can be achieved. If you have an umbrella, if one of the spoke is broken, I lived in Chicago, windy, rains. So if one of the spoke broken, then it will get crooked. So you'll get some wet. So it did not protect you from rain 100%. So make sure you don't have broken spokes on your umbrella. Same way in your course, think about, work on right objectives. Have you got enough objectives to protect, to achieve the overall goal? Goal can only be achieved if objectives are rightfully identified.
Thank you. And when we look at the popularity of video lectures, and firstly, we want to buy that tool you had in your video there, where you can write on the glass wall or whatever that is. So we'd love to find out what that is so we can buy it. But in that way, how do we make these micro video lectures educational and not just the professor sitting at his desk, but something the student can really engage with and enjoy watching as well as learn what they're saying? What recommendations do you have for good video lectures?
Well, the one I did it several years back, one of the universities that it is something called Learning Glass, the product. You see, I'm a right-hand writer, right? But I was against the glass, so I was writing. They got me in the left-handed. You see, so how can you make it interactive? I do not know, because you are not in front of the students. So, like to make it interactive, maybe you have a webinar next to it, But like this is very interactive. As you're talking, asking me question, I'm answering. That is way. But how many windows can you open? There are too many windows. You have you and I one-on-one is fine. So, but if it's too many, that will be chaotic. So you have to figure it out. See, Badrul Khan does not give prescription. He describes the problem. You know, Paul, if I give a prescription to some place, I was thinking of, I proposed the establishment of Iraqi virtual university based on my model. If I give them the prescription how to do it, next time something failed, they're going to catch me. He said, oh, you did wrong. So I only describe the situation. Like my framework, it is fit for the world based on their context. Pedagogy may be different in Bangladesh over England. You know, in Bangladesh, also England, when the teacher comes in, his student stand up, and teacher is like, if you do not get lazy, and stand around, look at, oh, now you can sit down. Man, are you in the military school? Why you have to stand up? Maybe it's good for exercise. But respect, I don't think so. But anyway, so we have to make sure that our content, our locally available technologies, we can utilize them, and students will be using it. If they like it, they will make it interactive. So when you talk about writing on the board, something like that, even writing, even the flashcard, if you show the flashcard here, what do you think about this? And take the flashcard where they answer. Any way you can communicate. In a different countries, when I came to the United States, my English proficiency wasn't that good, but it's still not that good either. But when you're talking to another foreign student, somehow we communicate because we do a lot of gesture. If we don't get our point across, we'll call the person and try to, do you understand? Oh, no, understand. So what happens? We know our communication skills to convince one. So be creative in that way. I think this is an opportunity. We in instructional technology people, in all professors, we may give you some instructional strategies, but if you are a good teacher, trainer, you know in your heart what works good, what examples that you provide, it stick to their brain. So I want to write a book, Learning That Sticks. I hope I will get an opportunity because that's why I started Gyan Bahon, which is the knowledge career in Bangladesh. Hopefully it will be global, is a platform where a smaller micro-learning snippet will be shown. Not like what you learn in school, something that you don't learn. And I think knowledge acquisition can be from anyone. Someone never went to college, maybe has some information, would be useful. So we're going to collect important knowledge from them and use our e-learning and our framework to create meaningful learning and put it on a 3 to 5 minutes video, while somewhere this platform on the television like monitor, they can watch it. It's called competency-based, performance-based. Like I'm a gardener. All you got to come because you're in Virginia. So I'm Khan's Garden in Springfield, Virginia. So I do gardening. So in here, I do organic fertilizer. Do I know how to do it? I don't know. I made a hole, and anything, something could be rotten, you know, like vegetables. I just put on this thing, and something it becomes a biological, what is organic fertilizer. I put it and it works. Same way, those are the things. I never learned that. I just figured it out. So if there are so many crazy people like me in the world, they have something to tell, and these are useful. We're going to collect this information, make a micro-learning snippet, and make it available to the world. So world will be a better place because academic institutions award people with highest degrees. Think about chemistry. People got degree in chemistry. They created a fertilizer, which is, devastating for health. But I saw in the TV, there was a farmer in Texas. He was spraying garlic spray in a cornfield, was asked, why are you not using insecticide, pesticides? He said, if I use pesticide, bugs die, and we get disease from our crop. So I figured out that's what he did. When I said I figured out, that was his research, lifelong research. He said, garlic, the bugs don't, specific garlic cannot smell that, the odor of garlic. So when they spray the garlic with the cycle pump, the pump that he used, and he spray, and the bugs don't come. And you keep telling him, a farmer, but you're giving the guy a Doctor of Science degree. He's not only destroying your health, killing the environment, and our academic standards such that our people with their invention is detrimental to our society. Whereas people collective wisdom, things good for people, they don't make it to NATO keynote, they don't make it to television because they do. So we need to go back and start to appreciate the collective wisdom of people. And we as an instructional designer go to them, get their knowledge, and we will use the interactive way and snippetize them and present them to the world. That's why I started Gyan Bahun. Gyan means in Bangla knowledge, Bahun means career. So this knowledge career will be next to your home someday, hopefully.
Okay, well, I'm afraid we're out of time, but thank you for joining us this morning. And thank you again for being a great friend of NATO. And we look forward to continuing dialogue with you, sir. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you. You're welcome very much.
Goodbye.
Bye.